Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has taken the gaming world by storm, selling over 2 million copies within just 2 weeks of its release. The game has reached an all-time peak of 256,000 concurrent players on Steam, with current numbers around 86,000 players. Both players and critics have lauded the game, with 92.76 positive reviews on Steam. After dedicating 67 hours to complete the main quest, I can attest to its impressive depth and quality. However, it's not without its flaws. In this review, I will evaluate the game across several dimensions: technical aspects, which include graphic, music and innovations, gameplay mechanics, and narrative. Finally, I'll provide an overall assessment. Welcome to the channel, I'm Irad, and you are watching my review of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 runs on CryEngine, and it's clear that Warhorse Studios has refined their mastery of the engine, pushing it to its limits without needing to modify it beyond recognition, unlike a certain space sim developer that we all know. Performance-wise, the game runs flawlessly on my system, an RTX 3070 with 32GB of RAID DDR5, hitting a smooth 120 FPS with no major slowdowns. That being said, I did notice occasional graphical glitches, but nothing severe enough to break immersion. The visual effects, particularly sunrises and sunsets, are stunning, but some elements feel oddly dated, like smoke, for example, which has some rather unimpressive rendering, and the biggest offender is rain, which somehow looks worse than in the first game. How Warhorse managed to downgrade that is beyond me. However, where the game truly shines is its environments. The forests are lush and alive, and the city of Kuttenberg is a massive, bustling hub filled with life, detail, and explorable buildings, something that completely puts Starfield's tiny, soulless cities to shame. Overall, I'll give it 15 out of 20 for graphics. When it comes to music, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 brings back many familiar themes from the first game. If you enjoyed the original soundtrack, you'll feel right at home here, although some compositions have been altered to reflect the darker and more somber tone of the sequel story. At times, the score is truly epic, particularly during cutscenes where it enhances the cinematic experience beautifully. However, not all tracks hold up. Some pieces become annoyingly repetitive, especially the festive tunes. Whether you are at a wedding, a tavern, or any lively event, you will hear the same recycled melody, which starts to feel lazy after a while. But the biggest offender? It's the battle music. It sounds like it was ripped straight out of a Sega Genesis game, completely out of place, jarring, and borderline distracting. It's a baffling decision here that breaks immersion in an otherwise meticulously crafted medieval world, which is why the music gets 14 out of 20. Now, let's talk about what makes Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 truly stand out in today's gaming world. Is it innovation? Not really, but it does something far more important. It respects the player. In an industry where publishers charge more for less, cutting content with microtransactions and shallow experiences, Warhorse Studios did the exact opposite. I rushed through the main quest only, and it still took me 67 hours to complete. That's insane, and I love it. If more games offered this level of depth and content, the industry wouldn't be in the sorry state it is today. But that's not all. Warhorse also perfected NPC scheduling. Every NPC lives their lives and events unfold with or without you. This means that unlike in most RPGs where the protagonist is the center of the universe, here Henry is just another man trying to survive in a brutal world. It's refreshing, immersive, and exactly what RPGs should strive for. And then there is combat. Warhorse has refined their realistic melee system, delivering some of the best swordplay I've ever experienced in the game. At first, it's challenging, but once you level up Henry, the combat becomes almost orgasmic, fluid, brutal, and rewarding. This is how melee combat should be done. It gets a 20 out of 20. Now let's talk about gameplay, because Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 isn't just about swinging a sword. There's a ton of activities to dive into: alchemy, blacksmithing, cooking, dice games, horse riding, even racing, treasure hunting, hunting for game, and more. And what's brilliant is that if you get bored of one activity, you can simply move on to another. The game never forces you into a single path, it gives you options, and that's what makes it so immersive. In my second run, I've spent hours brewing potions, and not just for money, but to boost Henry's abilities, save the game, improve my chances of survival, or just avoid a hangover after a long night of drinking. And I love that. The depth of choice is staggering, and these choices matter, whether it's how you respond in dialogue, how you resolve a quest, or even how you carry yourself in town. Everything has consequences. Steal from the wrong person, you might end up in the pillory, or worse. Dress and act for the right occasion, people might treat you like a nobleman. What truly amazes me is that Warhorse Studios has seemingly thought of every possible situation Henry could find himself in, whether it's robbing someone, sneaking past guards, or pretending to be a high-born aristocrat. There's always a variety of ways to approach a scenario. And that's what makes this game so replayable. You'll constantly find yourself thinking, what if I had done things differently? And that is smart gameplay design, which gets a 20 out of 20. Finally, let's talk about the narrative, because Warhorse Studios has pulled off something very clever with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. The story picks up exactly where we left off in the previous game, but with a little twist. Henry loses many of its abilities, forcing him to relearn and regain his skills throughout the early parts of the game. It's a smart and natural way to prevent the players from starting off as an overpowered beast, while still maintaining a strong sense of progression. And when it comes to twists, this game doesn't hold back. You will be betrayed, saved by unexpected allies, and blindsided by returning faces. I was genuinely caught off guard multiple times, which is a rare treat in modern RPGs. But what makes the story truly engaging is how much your choices matter. Henry isn't just a blank slate. He can be virtuous, ruthless, treacherous, faithful, and even indulgent in certain pleasures. And these choices impact his relationships, some of which go beyond mere friendships. My only real gripe here is that the main quest sometimes pressures you into advancing the story a bit too much, which could lead to some players to miss out on excellent side quests. It's not really a deal breaker, but a little bit more of breathing room would have been welcome. Then again, that's what second playthroughs are for, and so it gets a 19 out of 20. And so, after 67 hours of adventuring through the richly detailed world of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, what is the final verdict? Well, Warhorse Studios has done it again. They've delivered a massive, content-rich RPG that respects the player's time and investment. A rare thing in today's gaming industry, and that is why it gets a final score of 88%. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a fantastic medieval RPG that proves single-player games with depth and choice still have a place out there. But I also would like to hear your thoughts. Have you played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 yet? What did you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed today's review, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for possibly more Kingdom Come Deliverance content. Let me know if it's something that you'd like to see. I'd be happy to dive even deeper into this fantastic game. Thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, this has been Irad, and I will see you guys in the next one.